Hey there, history buffs and harmony hounds. Today we're going to dive into the musical history of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Forget those slot machine jingles for just a minute, because today we're going to dive into musical legends, classic venues, and a unique history of a city that's seen it all. Buckle up, because this isn't just background noise, this is history that you can tap your foot to. Atlantic City at the turn of the 20th century wasn't just a place to take a breezy stroll. It was a burgeoning entertainment mecca. Think beyond saltwater taffy for a minute, and imagine the early sounds of entertainment. Vaudeville was king, and venues like Keats Theater on the Boardwalk hosted a constant stream of entertainment. Think of the energy, the variety. While recordings of these early performances are very rare, we do have the sheet music that gives us an inside look at what the sound of the era was. This gives us hints of the musical taste of the time that was full of sentimental ballads and marches that filled the air. As the century progressed, the jazz age roared, and with it, the rise of big bands. And Atlantic City was a crucial stop on that touring circuit. The legendary pier, the Steel Pier that jutted out into the Atlantic and hosted amusements, wasn't just for diving horses. Yeah, that was a thing. It also hosted some of the biggest names in swing music. Imagine catching the electrifying sounds of the Count Basie Orchestra. Can you just picture their electrifying rhythms setting dance floors ablaze? Or maybe you catch the incomparable Duke Ellington and his orchestra. They often brought their innovative jazz compositions to the Jersey Shore. These weren't just casual jazz gigs. These were cultural events. Now, let's fast forward to the mid-20th century, and the post-war boom is bringing new sounds. While the rock and roll sound was beginning to emerge nationally, Atlantic City was still holding on to its sophisticated nightlife. The legendary 500 Club, owned by the colorful Paul "Skinny" D'Amato, was the place to be seen. This is where the iconic Frank Sinatra and his buddies in the Rat Pack held court. This is when charisma and timeless vocals defined an era of cool. There were often impromptu performances and late night sessions. You could almost feel the ocean breeze as Sinatra croons away at "Come Fly Away With Me." We can't forget a vital part of Atlantic City's musical landscape, and that's the vibrant African-American entertainment scene that's centered around Kentucky Avenue. While segregation limited opportunities elsewhere, venues like Club Harlem became crucial stops on the Chitlin Circuit. This wasn't just about escaping the era's injustices. Imagine being able to witness the raw energy with young Ray Charles, or a soulful performance by Gladys Knight and the Pips, or the dazzling showmanship of Sammy Davis Jr. as he graced the stage there. These clubs were cultural hubs, and they fostered a unique and powerful musical legacy. As the decades rolled on, Atlantic City's musical identity continued to evolve. And of course, the city's narrative took a dramatic turn with the rise of casino gambling in the 1970s. This era is probably best captured by Bruce Springsteen's haunting ballad, Atlantic City. You cannot drive down the Atlantic City Expressway without putting that song on. The song has stark acoustic arrangements, and it even references local crime figures. It paints a picture of a city grappling with change, a city that is a far cry from the vibrant boardwalk of the past. It became almost a reluctant anthem for a city grappling with a gamble of its own. But as the city grappled with its future, it also doubled down on what had always worked for it: big-time entertainment. The tradition of Atlantic City hosting massive musical acts goes way back. For instance, Boardwalk Hall, formerly known as Convention Hall, was the site of absolute pandemonium when in 1964 it hosted the Beatles and a ton of screaming, screeching fans. And as the glamour of gambling faded and other states started to legalize gambling, the legacy of world-class entertainment in Atlantic City became more important than ever. The city leaned heavily on using superstars to attract visitors, with modern musical acts like the Rolling Stones, Lady Gaga, and Beyonce packing houses. It became a key survival strategy. When the slots go cold, bring in the stars. And just like anything else, that strategy kept evolving, and it turned into one of the greatest nightlife scenes in America. As the 21st century dawned, the sound of an Atlantic City night began to change. The classic lounge acts gave way to the pulsating beats of electronic dance music. Suddenly, the biggest draw wasn't a band anymore, it was a celebrity DJ. And a key figure in this transition was the legendary DJ Am. He was a true pioneer, and he helped shape the city's modern club scene. Most notably, he was the resident DJ and a part owner of the wildly successful Dust nightclub that was in Caesars. He proved that a DJ booth could be as big of a draw as any showroom, and he paved the way for the high-energy, DJ-driven sound that now powers most of Atlantic City's after-dark hours. While Atlantic City may not be the first place you think of when you think of musical history, its stages, its clubs, and even its struggles have influenced modern music deeply. From the vaudeville stages of the 1920s to the showrooms of today and the soulful nights on Kentucky Avenue, music has always been a vital part of Atlantic City's history. It's a history filled with high notes, perhaps a couple sour ones, but there's an undeniable rhythm that's all its own. So the next time you hear "On the Boardwalk" or Bruce Springsteen's Atlantic City, take a moment to appreciate the rich history that echoes through this seaside town. It's the soundtrack to a century of dreams, gambles, and unforgettable performances. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video. If you like what you saw, give it a subscribe. In the comments down below, tell me the best blackjack table in Atlantic City.